Hi everyone, thanks for joining in for today's recap session. So today I'm also going to talk about Iceberg Orders, but first I'm going to quickly cover my trades for the day. So stick around and I'll be covering a live example of an Iceberg order which I managed to record. Of course, it's very difficult to record these instances unless you're recording your level 2 all the time. But I hope that what I'm about to show you will give you an idea of what to look for, or what that means and how it affects you as a retail trader. But as you can see from my screen, I traded ACON today. I took about 3 to 4 trades on it. One break even, a couple of losers and one winner. I went from red to green on it. I didn't trade it particularly well. The price action on it wasn't the easiest. There was a lot of there were a lot of wicks on the green candles. So that means that there was a lot of selling pressure as it was going up. And it was very difficult to trust. But let's jump on a screen share and have a look at this. So I'll bring up the the 10-second chart. But before I do that, so why did I trade this stock? It had fresh catalyst. It has a micro float, or really low float, under 1 million shares available to trade from one source at least anyway. It had a good steady volume coming in. Of course, the first few minutes of the stock popping up weren't that great, but it obviously went on to give us an impressive move. All in all, this is really positive and good for us long traders, or short traders, I suppose. Momentum's coming. There is a bit of momentum. We had more momentum today, I feel like, than we have had over the past few days or weeks and months. But let's zoom in a bit and cover these trades quickly before I talk to you guys about Iceberg Orders and what that means to us. So my entry on ACON, I did take an initial trade on it. It was a break-even trade. I sold it for a 1 cent profit. But the first trade that was a loser was a breakup VWAP setup. I didn't trade it in this area. It kept hitting this resistance. What I was looking for was a curl. And it gave us this curl, but then it couldn't really hold above VWAP. So I got in with a view that it was going to give us a push higher to this level, which I've drawn around 781. But unfortunately, it failed. And the problem was I couldn't sell on the ask. And as you can see, that there was not a lot of volume going through these 1 minute candles. So the price dropped and faded very quickly, and I ended up selling on the bid, and there was a quite big spread on it. So I ended up losing about 20-30 cents on, I think, 10-20 shares. So I was already down by about 376, so about almost under 1 R. And then and as I had drawn this support line on the 10-second chart, I realized that it was going to retest this. So I had my finger on the buy button, ready to buy in half a position. So I did that as soon as I tested this, and then it went up, and then it came back down, retested it again, and I added to my position. So I had an average position of about 714 in this area with 20 shares. So that's my full size position right now, as I am still in my recovery, or perhaps in my learning phase. But this did work out really well. It gave us a really big push as it was moving up. I was selling and I managed to, I think the best exit that I got was 777. So right about here, just under this resistance, which is brilliant because it obviously hit this resistance and came back up, and it retested it a few times. So that was great. The only downside with scaling out with small share positions is that although it's good practice for me right now, but of course it's going to affect the commissions that I pay, because every time I send an order and it gets filled, and there's going to be a minimum charge applied to that trade by my broker. And it's not financially sensible to do that, but I'm not here to make money right now. In terms of, I'm not focusing on my P&L. Of course, the end game is to make money, but in terms of practicing and working out my stats, that's my priority. Ultimately, I still want to have a green P&L, but I'll be focusing on the gross P&L rather than the net P&L. And of course, by limiting the number of trades I'm taking, I'm also paying less commission anyway. So that's my trade on ACON or ACON. It did go on to give us a really amazing move, and it continued, but I didn't touch it anymore. I was studying it. I was paying close attention to it. I was watching to see what it does. But of course, if I had held, on hindsight, it would have been a home run for me in terms of this particular trade for this month. It would have been a home run in terms of my R&R. It probably would have been 6-7 times my 7R, 8R, maybe more. But anyway, hindsight is always going to, on hindsight, you're always going to reflect and be like, well, I should have kept, but it is what it is. All right. Now, the next stock that popped up this morning was FLYX. Now, this is the stock that I'm going to talk about and cover an iceberg order example on with. So it's gone on to give us a very impressive move. I underestimated this stock. I feel like there was a lot of FOMO for me for sure, because I didn't trade it. It's just not the typical sort of news that you trade with, and or it's been working out. And as you can see, it's halted up right now. Did it go into 2 halt up? Yes, second halt up, and I can see it's been paused. So if I look at my level 2, it's paused at 9:45. So it's paused for quite a bit. Is this a NYSE? Yeah, it's a NYSE listed stock, so they don't give you as much information. If it was a NASDAQ listed stock, they will tell you the countdown. You could get a countdown, and also what the resumption price might be. But with a NYSE listed stocks, you don't get that data. Anyway, going back to iceberg orders. So what is an iceberg order? So an iceberg order is a large buy or sell order that is hidden from the order book. And the order book for us looks like something like this, where we are looking at this book. We are seeing, well, this is the top of the book. It's not the full depth where I'm seeing everything that's listed with each of these exchanges. This is what they're showing us at the best price at that particular exchange for buying and selling. So buying on the left side, which is the bid, and selling on the ask, which is on the right hand side. So on the top of the book, this is what the book order was talking about. So the intention is that they hide their order behind this order book. So what does that mean to us as retail traders? So if I wanted to enter a position and I saw a big order, which let me just bring the actual example here. So if I want to enter this position and buy something at this level, if I see this 30,000 order sitting there selling, then I'd realize that there's a big resistance level there. So the chances of actually it moving up then requires a lot of volume to come and clear that. Of course, in this case, although they've tried to hide that 30,000 order, by the way, you're going to add 2 zeros to this column here. So we've sort of rounded it, but you're going to add 2 zeros to each of these columns, which gives you the full size of that order. So we've got an order sitting here at 30,300 to sell. Of course, this could be a combination of different orders that have come in through ARCA, the exchange, that are represented and being sent to the system. So actually, let's just watch the resumption on this. Sorry, whilst we were talking. Wow, that really shot up, didn't it? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Well, let's get back to what we were talking about. So as you can see, there's a big sell order there. So let's watch and see what happens here. So did you see how that sell order, there was a lot of buying going through, but then it just kept 49. Let's just watch. So what you'll see now in a moment, you should see the price jump back up to that level again, and that big order is still there, but it's refreshing. So all that buying is still going through, but nothing is actually making that move. Let's just move this along a bit, about here. So let's have a look again. So I've added, thanks to one of our Discord members, I've added this new functionality where you can highlight big orders. So it highlights it in pink. That's why you see it in pink. So still 24, and it's actually more sellers selling. More sellers are probably piling up on top. But as you can see, it's not, even though there's some selling going through, buying going through, it's actually not budging. So in fact, what you'll see it's happening is that the order's been walking down the price. So as as the price is moving down, that big order is moving down with it. So it happens so quickly. So if I slow this down a bit, see if that order popped down, 247.43. So it keeps reloading. I mean, this tells, so that's what it typically looks like. So you see that order is just not reducing the size. Although, to be fair, we're not seeing a lot of buying go through, which is in green. But this is probably as close as an example I can share with you right now. If I find any other useful examples, of course, I'll make another video. But the idea is that you would see a lot of green go through. In fact, let me just play it a bit more. Well, there's another bit where we see it pop back up again. Bear with me. Let me just see. Is it here? Let's look at this one. So let's see if this one pops up again. So what we want to see is the orders just sitting there, green going through, but the size is not reducing. So that the size of that sell order is staying the same. So let's just see what happens. I mean, you can see a lot of buying going through at 26, but nothing actually moving. So let's move that a bit forward. Where are you? 23. I mean, we are seeing orders, buy orders go through at 23, but if anything, is actually more was being added to it. There is another clip I also have. Let me just see if I can show you this one. This one's a short one, but you'll see it pop back up again in a moment. So again, 602. So we've seen buy orders go through at 602. Of course, these exchanges could also be selling. So these buy orders might be going through these other exchanges. So Arca. I can see which exchanges of those orders have actually been sold through, but it's reloading. It's not moving. So that's essentially the gist of it, is that the sell order is a bigger order than what is represented here. So this could, even though it's displaying as a 10,000 share sell order, it could actually be a 20 or a 30 or even more. It could even be 100, 200,000 share order, sell order that's actually sitting there, but it's been dripped down. And then what then they do is that as the price moves down, they might try to move it further down. So they'll just go one cent less. So essentially that's as close an example I can find to an iceberg order. So of course, what we want to see is that you'll see a lot of green go through, but this order is not changing. But the problem is this example may not necessarily display that. And at the same, and also the other thing you got to bear in mind is that these orders are being matched at different exchanges. So they're not necessarily being matched at Arca. So this order sitting here in Arca is not really getting bought into. See if there's more orders going through Arca. I mean, those are orders going through, but that 24 is not changing. So maybe not a lot is being routed through Arca. But anyway, I hope you got an idea of or understanding of what it means, what we mean by an iceberg order. So again, just to recap, it's an iceberg order is a larger order for buy or sell. To buy or sell, but it's hidden from the order book, or maybe a small portion of that is displayed on the order book. So the same example I showed you could also work on a buy side. Perhaps you've got a big buyer that's looking to it's buying in the support region, but they don't want to reveal their hand because they want the price to come down to them so they can absorb all that buying because they have conviction that the price is going to go up. And if they did that, then if they display that if they display their hand, so if they were to display that there was a big buyer here, then that could give conviction to other retail traders to step in and buy, and therefore the price may never ever reach their limit that they set. So on the other side, if you have a big seller which is showing that they have a big sell order, it would then deter other retail traders or other buyers to actually jump in to a particular price because they're like, well, there's a big wall of sell orders here. it needs to first break through that, and I don't, and I you might hesitate. So that will be the reason why you'd want to hide your orders. At this point in my journey, I don't need to worry about it because I'm still trading with very small share size. Maybe last year, February last year, where I started off with bigger share positions, perhaps that would have been the time to actually consider it, given that I was trading with 5,000-10,000 shares or more, and you may not want to reveal your hand as much. So I hope you found that useful. I'll try to find other examples. It's very difficult to record the level 2 at the right time. But let me know what your thoughts are. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. We also have a Discord community that you can join. If you'd like a link, leave a comment in the description below, and I'll send you a sort of one-time invite so you can join that community. But otherwise, yeah, I'll catch you all tomorrow.